Why not just share it? Give it to all those agents who can actually help you share, like that can actually help you rent out those properties on a daily basis, pahali, and you make your money, and they help you maintain the property so it won't depreciate. It would always be available for people who want to use the service. So you see that the way technology has started changing things. So of course, technology is the enabler because you need to have a platform to sell it. You need to have a platform like Airbnb. There's some other platforms that provide such services. You can rent your house while you're at work. Somebody else can go to your bed and use it. When you come back, the house will be cleaned. Of course, now they would have cleaned it. So you rent an apartment. Even while you rented the apartment, you're still paying the rent yearly. You can still rent it out monthly. You can still rent it out on a daily basis. Like, so when you're at work, your house is not yielding any money for you. You can keep your keys. The rental agency company will come there, pick up your keys, give it out. When they are done with it, they'll keep the house clean. Back. Rent your kitchen, rent your bedroom, rent your parlor. They will come out. So far, nothing is damaged and nothing is missing. Everything will still be intact. So that's the whole idea of this sharing economy. You have a cab, you're not using them. So why just keep park 5 cars in your house, in your compound, and it's not yielding you any money? You have bikes, you have your OP and the likes of those. So, like I rightly said, the world is becoming a global village. There's this interconnectivity now. That's the Internet of Things has really empowered us to do. So it is disrupting businesses. It is creating room space for innovation. It is giving people deeper understanding, opportunities to be able to do new things, to be able to think out of the box, rather than having all those myopic, archaic way of reasoning. These enablers have started giving us room space to be able to think out of the box, recreate new businesses. Who would have just imagined that, like 10 years back, things like Uber will scale? Uber doesn't even, they don't have their own personal cars. They don't have fleet of cars at this. They don't even have cars. All they have is an app. The app itself is what they sell. That's their unique selling point. So they just sell technology to us. I'll pay for the service. Just imagine. They just build the software, an app, simple app. They use Google Map. They start with Google Map. And so these are conventional things that we play with on a daily basis. But these guys are thinking out of the box. They are seeing a problem. They've seen the problem. Okay, that there's a huge gap in terms of movements from one point to another. And rather than having people, and they have these cars clustered in their house, they are not making any use of it. So someone just sat down and started seeing that thing as a business prospect. They started seeing that problem as an opportunity to be able to create value. So it's the value now that we are paying for, those comforts. You see a very nice car. Wow, this Uber guy. I came with this fine car. And you pop into the car and you're excited. Okay, wow, this is a very beautiful car that came to pick me. So, and at the end of the day, you still get paid for it. So technology is really making us, as the day goes by, as there are more breakthroughs in terms of research and development, is giving us the opportunity, to be able to think out of the box. It's giving us room space to be able to think deeply of how to solve problems. So, like I've rightly said, these are just to mention but a few. There are so many other tools, there are so many other things, there are so many areas, there are so many, creative or disruptive innovations or ideas that are coming up, with the head of technology or with the head of science. Let me put it as science and technology, disrupting ways of lives, our livelihoods, things that we used to think that are like abstract have become normal. They've become the norms now. Things that we were like in the past 10 years, things that we never envisioned, things that were just like in an imaginary state have started becoming reality in our eyes now. And very soon, in the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to move to another phase of life. So it's just so as you can see how this technology has really look at, for instance, I just give an insight of this sharing economy. like 15, 10 years back, they weren't existing. There was no company called Uber. Maybe, yeah, they might have something similar, maybe community wise. People just, shuffle around with people's cars. But in terms of like a global scale, like a real business, like I rightly said, Uber does not have cars. They don't sell cars. They don't, if you go to their platform, I don't think you see any car tagged Uber car. They don't. All they just have is a software and a business plan. Simple. The business plan is we're going to be creating this service. They saw an opening rather than seeing complaints. There's too much traffic. They saw an opening. They saw a problem as a business opportunity for them. And every other person started playing catch up. They weren't the first persons or the first pioneers. They weren't even the first players in that, that field, but they were able to, like, disrupt the status quo, what was already existing. They built on that model, and they created a business that became a global, a multi-billion-dollar brand. So I just want to use this medium to encourage us. Impossibility is nothing. There's nothing impossible. It's just, it has to do with our mindset, the power of the mind. What problems are you saying? What problems are you solving? Technology is just an enabler, like I rightly said. We saw the way Uber, and so many other companies just give us technology. Like, for instance, the financial sectors, the banks and the lights, they just service our money for us. So, like, I keep encouraging my party. We're about to, come to the end of this year. So it's time for both individuals and companies to start to think about the future. Next year, plans for next year. Don't wait for November, 31st, thinking about your New Year resolution. Act now. The time is now. Become innovative. Become very, very creative. Sit down. Problems around you. There are so many business opportunities around us. Like I told a friend 2 weeks back. In Lagos, we have over 30 million people. This 30 million people, they go to toilet every day. They brush their teeth every day. They comb their hairs. They use toothpaste. They use toothbrush. They go to work. They buy fuel. They eat food. So at least I've mentioned 10 different problems that we can solve. So these are areas that we can actually solve problems. It can be a niche problem. It can be a mass problem. You can use technology. It can be a product serving. It can be a service. You can't be out of business in Lagos if you're thinking smart. The idea is problem solving and using technology. They started solving those problems, and they started using technology to solve those problems. So my word is solve problems. Look for a problem to solve. There are so many problems to solve. It can be a yoga class online. It can be even things as funny as foods that we eat. The value chain is big. You can start from the middleman, like retailing or whatever. So, with that said, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that's listening to me today. The world is beautiful. Let's make it a better place for us to dwell in, to live in. It's beautiful that we'll be able to see things and do it and solve problems and create wealth at the end of the day. Because the bottom line is, in every adversity, there's an equivalence of success. Money is meant to be made. It's not meant to be prayed for. It's meant to be made. So I want to say a very big thank you to everybody that listened to me. So follow us on all our social media platform, on Facebook, Twitter, then YouTube channel, which is Lagoon.TV, and of course our website, Lagoon.News, for more information. And of course, I'll meet you same time next week. And on this note, I want to say Christmas is fast approaching. Please be very careful. And that's it. Good day and goodbye for now.
You are listening to Lagoon Radio.